Hello, welcome to part 2 of Our Water Tastes Like Wine. I have a new headset, and it's about the same as the old headset, except it is way more sensitive, so hopefully my voice will be a little bit louder for this recording, and I did change some things on OBS, so hopefully it will be better. Right now we're working on getting the story of the kid, and I don't remember what I was doing. Have I already heard this story? I have. Oh, I haven't read this one. He reads out a story about the boy whose shiftless father left him alone in the woods. You're shocked. It's a story of the boy who ran away with his father, but with some bits changed. Do you think this really happened, he asked. Oh, yes. He shrugs. It sounds like nonsense to me for sure, he says. The stuff they print these days.
Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by I'll see them far and long. 'Cause when the
Have I already been in New York? Whatever. You notice a black crow sitting on a fence post, watching you with unsettling intensity. Hey, it blurts. Hey friend, hey! You hear about trains? It gives a throaty cackle. Locomotion, that's a life. I got some travel tips here. Ask about travel. You ever ride a train, it says? With your budget, you'll need to hop on at a train yard, though. Fast and convenient, but the railroad bulls really don't like it when you ride in empty boxcars. If you get caught, you'll get beaten. It hops and pecks at something on the ground. On the positive side, maybe you'll meet someone to trade stories with. But if you don't like the sound of that, you could hitchhike. Find a friendly car, it laughs. I feel sorry for you, landlubbers. No wings, just motors. You can't even cross rivers when you want to. Only at safe crossings. You got a point there. I always do. You notice that its beak doesn't move as it speaks, but before you can tell anything else about it, off it flies. Let's go over here. Search.
The stream is a clear, reflective shade of blue, unusual in this region where bog iron colors the river's brown. Across the way, a goat with great leather wings laps up the water, its sunken red eyes fixed on your every movement.
Take stock.
You now notice the unnatural absence of wildlife. No fish swim in the stream. No birds sing in the trees. The winged goat drinks with a forked tongue, only abstractly concerned with your presence.
I'm curious about the goat.
Over the hill, a scorched one-room house lies abandoned, 2 of its 4 walls in ruins. The goat rears up, front hooves curled, and stretches its wings out to their full breadth.
Draw closer.
The goat opens its mouth and wails, a protracted, shrill sound, indistinguishable from the cry of a human infant. It only begins to stop when you take several steps back.
Leave.
The winged goat doesn't follow. Instead, it lies down inside the burnt house, surrounded by portraits of a large family, glass frames stained brown from smoke.
I'm guessing the goat is resembling a child that was killed in a fire. I need to head south. They really do capture the hiking through the countryside feeling. I've already been to Washington. The crow's right. To Virginia we go. I still don't know what the whistling does. I don't even remember where I was supposed to meet everybody. I think this is a new person.
Sorry, friend, but I gotta ask you not to get no closer unless I can see your hands at all times. Look too clean to be one of us. But you don't look like the company sent you neither. Alright, come and share my fire spell. Don't linger. These hills is full of ears. Don't think just 'cause you can't see no one that you're safe. And I'll give you cornbread. Don't be so sure of me neither. See anything exciting out there on the road? Mostly I just seen dogs.
It's all demon goat. I don't remember this. I'll play the Empress. Oh, that's right. I'll talk about the Thunderbirds.
Brings me back. There was a time when me and Big Ben could just enjoy exciting stories like this one. Innocent. Home? I always wanted a little place where I could watch the sky change color, watch the cook fire smoke, dance up among the pines. See anything exciting out there on the road? Mostly I just seen dogs.
It's exciting. I want to talk about the mill.
That's supposed to be scary? Well, alright. The past. I remember looking between my mama's ankles down the road. Every evening, she'd be whispering. Still don't know if she would count the workers, praying about them. Got any funny stories? Must have a couple.
We're in the Great Depression, there's not going to be any funny stories. I think Washington DC guy found this funny.
You got some wit, stranger. Trust. Can I trust you? If I asked you how many widows were made when the number 9 fell in, would you know?
I don't even know what that means.
What year it was when they walked Samuels and his boys down to Big Sandy and done them like criminals?
I don't know what that means either.
You heard the word of Mother Jones?
I definitely don't know what that
Answer
means.
these. I can't say much. See anything exciting out there on the road? Mostly I just seen dogs.
I'll tell him about Quinn.
You'd be popular at mealtime where I'm from. You'd keep a whole crew glued, I bet. Travel? Well, next time you take a train, take a peek on up at its beating heart. It's black breath. That's just what a mining man looks like inside it. Coal dust, smoke, and fire. See anything exciting out there on the road? Mostly I just seen dogs.
That's exciting.
Are you trying to scare me? Every man in the last meeting I ran could tell you a story scarier than that right off the top of his head.
Well, I don't hear you telling any stories.
Perhaps. Yeah, I tried to help dig us out. Now more like than not, I'm gonna be running forever. Keep thinking, I should get mad about it. Maybe there's only so mad a man can be for so long. Sometimes fire follows the line all the way up into the hole and whoosh, snuffs out. And there's the men with their eyes screwed shut, fingers in their ears, not knowing how to feel the silence. Morning. I gotta get going. Headed up that way. Won't be specific for my safety and yours. You want to find me? Then do it. Talk again about these things.
He's going right to the heart of coal country.
Coal ain't got no country. No worker neither. Worker ain't Virginian, Christian, white, colored, Irish, Polish, nothing. Worker is a worker. We all gotta work. If you're one of them, if you think I sound red, you best come out and say so. Get it over with.
So now we have a coworker.
Outside the small thicket of apple trees, the phrase "tended to by John Chapman" is carved into a fence post. Nearby, a hound lies on its side, perfectly still. Flies buzz around its ears. But a grizzled man pauses at his digging to shoo them off.
That's right, take care of your dogs.
There's an extra shovel. With it, the two of you make short work of the grave. He tells you about his beliefs, why he's raising apple orchards in the middle of the country. It's a sin to graft, he tells you. Hurts the tree. Eventually, the hole is deep enough. He stoops to the ground and lowers the pup into the earth. Tears flow freely. I'll see him again in heaven, he tells you. Our souls are bound by love. He wipes his eyes. I don't think I can bear to stay here, though. Maybe I'll set out again.
They really gotta pull the dog story. And it works. These fellows are lounging in the front of a half-finished office building, taking their lunch break. Hey, one calls, waving you down. Rick was telling us this story. Listen, okay? And you tell us if it's BS or not. Sure. Rick, a credulous-seeming fellow, starts telling you a story about the storm generated by a gigantic bird. You realize it's the story of a massive thunderstorm, but changed in a few major ways. So it's definitely part BS, right? But also a little real? I mean, there's a huge theme in this game about the Thunderbirds. Half of the group groans. How the hell is that supposed to be a real story? Exclaims the man who waved you down. You're all the most gullible pieces of crap I've ever met. The other half of the group, vindicated, shares a bottle of pop with you. Move on. All the way out here.
The edge of summer has turned the ocean choppy and misanthropic. and the skies miserably gray. The boardwalk prophetess lured you into her tent with a promise to read a fortune for free. Seems like business has slowed to a crawl already.
Sit at her table.
Before you lie the instruments of her profession. There's tarot cards, Rider-Waite, but also Marseille for traditionalists, rosary beads and costume jewelry, and of course, the centerpiece, a great glass globe.
Listen to your fortune.
With practiced theatricality, she goes directly for the crystal ball, letting her eyes unfocus as though she can see a great distance into it. She brings up names, places, asks if you've known someone called John, if you have a relative in Newark. You'll latch on to what she says, and together you dance towards some insights about your romantic prospects. It's relieving to meet an honest charlatan instead of the ghouls and ghasts of the road. You might even say you're having fun, until she abruptly stops talking.
Ask her what's wrong.
Your eyes, she says, her voice suddenly drained of the bassy drama that was her stock in trade. You've met him. You've seen him, too. You carry him with you.
Are we talking about the bird, the wolf, or both?
The words that come out of your mouth are not your own. They seem unwilling or unable to form properly out of a human throat. They're more like snarls, warning noises of a vicious animal.
I suppose we are a wolf today.
The glass globe shatters. Your vision is hazy, and your body is not your own. You came far to get away from me, the voice lodged inside you says. But this one has a way of wandering. The fortune teller has collapsed, cowering. Consider your debt to me repaid.
Blackout.
When you come to your senses, you're lying face down on the rough wood of the boardwalk, sore and weak. An empty patch of wood, cleaner than the surrounding planks, is all that remains of the fortune teller's tent.
Oh, I like how they got the typical north and south line. This is really a test on my knowledge of geography. Is there really nothing to collect? I will climb this mountain. Excellent. It's a first communion, looks like, and the photographers are struggling to keep up with the flow of family photos outside the church. Can you write? They demand. For hours you scribble names, take notes, and keep the line orderly. For an afternoon's work it pays very well. Yay for us, I guess. There's this. That's a mine. They just can't make it easy on me, can they? I'm on my way. Ooh, there's all kinds of stuff in Charleston. The man reads the newspaper of barely contained horror, his grimace spreading wider and wider as he makes his way down the page. Suddenly his frown cracks into something with a little more amazement in it. Whoa, he says. What's the matter? He reads out a story about 8 identical men, born to 8 different mothers, who each mistook the other for his brother. You're shocked. It's a story of the 4 identical men, born to 2 different mothers, who confuse themselves amongst each other. They have some bits changed. Do you think this really happened, he asked. Oh yes. He shrugs. Sounds like nonsense to me for sure, he says. Stuff they print these days.
His clothes are expensive, but unkempt. A tailored jacket stretched and warped out of its best fit by long days on the road. His thinning frame weighs down the boxcar next to yours. You got a light, friend?
Sure.
You offer a match, which bends and nearly snaps as he scratches it against the pitted iron edge of the boxcar. Thanks, he mumbles, perching one last cigarette on his lip.
So where are you going?
Don't rightly know where I'm going. You notice how deeply wrinkled his clothes are. It's as though a huge hand plucked him from a high society party and crumpled him up like a sheet of paper. Don't rightly know how I got going either.
Why?
They built a railway just past Missy Hudson's estate. Damned racket ruined our soiree. Might have been a few bottles of Armagnac too many when I walked down the tracks to tell them to keep it quiet. He drags on the cigarette, but you never see him exhale.
Probably lost his fortune in the stock market crash.
Well, I'm gonna scrawl my name on the bed.
I don't know you from anyone. But maybe in the end that don't matter so much, so long as we're after the same things. A little firelight, a little morsel, a minute or 2 of company. Well, I ain't got much, and I sure ain't got more than that. I'll share what I have. You'll do the same for a stranger one day by and by. See anything exciting out there on the road? Mostly I just seen dogs. Are you trying to scare me? Every man in the last meeting I ran could tell you a story scarier than that right off the top of his head.
Unbelievable.
When I think about the past, I think about 10, 15, 20 men all passing the time, enjoying. Almost no one language between us, all different stories. We all have black fingers, though. Coal mine turns us all the same color in the end. Got any funny stories? Must have a couple.
Gosh. I'm really struggling here. Guess I'll go with this one.
You reading me out of a dime novel? That stuff ain't true. Authority means being afraid, even though you know you're not the one in the wrong. And you can't show your fear, because you got all the others counting on you, looking to you about what to do. I had no time to get frightened, not even when they were dragging Union men and strangers alike out to the hills to get shot on suspicion of being Reds. You just had to tell the workers again and again how it was going to go right for them in the end. Even though sometimes I wasn't so sure myself. I need a laugh. Know any good jokes?
Your mom. All these are so depressing.
Come on, that's all made up. This country? Pretty here. How many human bodies you think it's built on? I'm just being figurative. Mostly. See anything exciting out there on the road? Mostly I just seen dogs.
Talk about the Thunderbird people.
Brings me back. There was a time when me and Big Ben could just enjoy exciting stories like this one. Innocent. I don't know if your definition for freedom is the same as mine. One day they might quit chasing after me, and one day the Union might get our rights writ down and everybody following.
The Union usually loses.
After that, good night. Nothing left to organize. I'm a miner again. Nothing left but to go back down and get cold. Anyway, I need something to laugh about. Got any funny ones?
No, I don't have any funny ones. I should have saved Mason's story. I haven't told this one yet to anyone.
Well, just seems like wishful thinking to me. Why ask me about love? I had a chance once. I think it's past. It's just the way it went. Me, I can run to the hills till my ribs show, but I wasn't gonna do that to... You can't do that to a wife. Here comes the dawn. Headed out this way. Can't say where specifically. My safety and yours, you understand. My journey ain't so long as the crow flies, but it's winding. Detours for hiding, for dodging dogs, and men with guns. See, I don't have to run from you, though. If we run into one another out that way, maybe we'll share a little fire again.
The earth, I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman come for
Actually, I want to hop up train. I haven't tried that yet.
I won't leave
We are lagging. As you hop off the boxcar, you suddenly feel a heavy hand of a railroad bull on your shoulder. Now where'd you come from? He asks in a way that indicates he doesn't care. You don't mess with the Rock Island's cars. The beating that ensues is efficient and brutal.
On the bare bones of the earth, I'm gonna dig my heels in
Chattanooga.
'cause when that ferryman comes for to tally up my worth.
A family of 9 invites you into their home for a meal. Hogs roam free in the yard. They wallow in shady patches of cool mud, not paying any mind as you pass. During supper, the hard wind puts an awful burden on the walls. The glass dishes rumble on the table, but the mother seems calm. Can't butcher a hog in these parts without me, Ma, hollering for pig's feet.
Ghost.
The mother raises up her shoulders into a stern posture. I teach my children to only fear the Lord. We don't have haints, just me, Ma.
Dig my hole.
The blistering sun has scared even birds into the shade. But a middle-aged woman and a young couple are still collecting scraps of cotton that the machinery missed. With a ragged voice, the older woman calls to you. Got any water?
Sure.
The 3 of them rush over to you, suddenly reanimated. They pass around your canteen. When you get it back, it's empty. The woman squeezes your hand and sighs with relief. Sweetest thing I ever tasted, she tells you.
Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by
Is there going to be anything in the mountains?
far and long, when the night come down for to take me,
What does the heart icon mean?
this will be my vagrant song.
Wait, does that mean I have to go to a city and eat?
Yeah, this will be my tale.
What key is it to hitchhike? It's been like a week since I played this game. Is it H? Okay. H is inventory.
I won't leave much to find that can be found.
What? There's no story at the plantation. Let me over, please. This is like trying to get up mountains in Skyrim. The policeman in the truck on this corner is having a pretty wild argument with someone on the other end of the radio. No, he keeps saying, no way. You listen in as the man on the radio finishes a wild story about a whippoorwill watching for death. Wait a second. I swear this is what happened, the cop over the radio insists. That's when it clicks. You know the story. It's a stranger version of the story of the drunkard lineman, but with some bits left out or replaced. Ain't true, the cop in the truck sighs. If only he knew. I will get that fire after I see everything.
Electric lamps stipple the cotton field before you with an orange light, moving like a group of lethargic fireflies. From the field, the voices of the workers reach you in a soulful, united song.
Russ nearby.
You're gently lulled to sleep as the song floats over you. And oh, Lordy, pick a bale of cotton. And oh, Lordy, pick a bale a day.
Doze off.
You're pulled out of your slumber by a woman's pained scream and a collection of shouts rising from the field.
Focus on the
The
noise.
woman's screams taper off, soon replaced by the raw cries of an infant. Applause briefly fills the night, eventually fading back into song. Oh, Lordy.
Wake up.
You wake up to the gentle crescendo of the worker's song, unsure if it ever ceased at all.
Move on. I wonder if one of the characters we can meet is someone in the sharecropping system. These folks are setting up a cooking tent in the corner of a fairground. Beyond them, bigger tents rise like clouds. You want to make some cash, the manager asks? A long, hot day serving funnel cakes and bussing tables at dining events? I cannot read, but you're paid well. Move on.
For to take me hand in hand, this will be my tale, my vagrant song.
Well, here you come again. We've seen a bit of each other now. Not enough for me to know you, but enough to share a fire.
Continue.
You'll forgive me for being careful. Ain't nothing else to be out here if you want to see the sunrise.
At least it saves your progress.
We'll sit down, share a little dinner. Let's talk a while. Keep the cold out of our lungs. See anything exciting out there on the road? Mostly I just seen dogs. Huh. Ain't funny to me. When I think about the past, I think about 10, 15, 20 men all passing the time, enjoying.
You've already told me
They all have
this.
black fingers, though. Coal mine turns us all the same color. Anyway, I need something to laugh about. Got any funny ones?
I blew my funny story. I might have to tell him about the hog farmers. I guess I'll do this one.
Oh boy, you watch out now, I'll start chuckling. Family. Once there were 4 of us, and it was just my poor ma and me. Could I do but go to work for her? It was the end of my playtime. No more song and dance. I need a laugh. Know any good jokes?
Can you ask for a different story? I'll tell him about the cult.
Come on, don't try to cheer me up with that lying nonsense. I don't know if your definition for freedom is the same as mine. One day they might quit chasing after me, and one day the Union might get our rights writ down, and everybody after that, good am I. Nothing left to organize. I'm a miner again. Nothing left but to go back down, get cold. Got any funny stories? Must have a couple.
I think I need to do a lot more wandering before I talk to him. I haven't told anyone about the depressing seagull fortune.
Well, just seems like wishful thinking to me. The future? With all due respect, friend, I find this prognosticating a little ungodly. Just a little. All I can say is I hope whoever's up there sees fit to make it turn out so this'll all have been for something. It has to turn out. That's the only point in keeping on. And that's true no matter what you're on this earth for, ain't it? Anyway, I need to think about something else. Know any scary stories? Any spooky stuff?
This is what I specialize in. That's just depressing.
Working hard to scare me, ain't you? That's a good one. Fortune? All I earned was this pile of coal script. Ain't worth a damn. Take some, in case you ever find your way to a company town. Or so you remember me. Guess I always wanted to be remembered by someone.
So does this mean I finished the story?
I'm heading out, up this way.
Or
I
not?
can't say exactly where I'll be tomorrow. You ever get a loose thread? When you pull it, the whole works come apart. Every one of us gets mastered by something. You try to get out from under it. What if you never get to know if you done right? You ever, you know?
Yeah, this will be my tale.
This is new.
My vagrant song.
It's newspaper guy. He reads out a story about the fisherman and his fish calling seagulls. You're shocked it's a story of the seagulls and the fisherman. But with some bits changed. Do you think this really happened, he asked. It's always a skeptic with the newspaper. Where does this go? I see things over there, doesn't matter. I don't think I've heard this song yet.
Don't come from up above. Yeah, I got debts to pay, but not the ones you're thinking of, and all of that fame and fortune.
We need a sixth.
She told you, beckoning from the steps of a great dark mansion. And just like that, you found yourself sitting with strangers around a velvet-draped table. Her voice is reedy and high, modulated by the tight collar of her Victorian dress.
Join hands, everyone.
Activate the friendship circle.
Your host keeps her eyes closed as she beseeches the spirits of the dead. But everyone else around the table lets one lingering, awkward glance bounce around between them. You sense they're just about done humoring her when it happens. A deep, nasty thump beneath the table.
Hold tight.
The whole table starts to shake, threatening to lift right off the ground. And then, the staid candle flames start flickering like mad, casting ghastly shadows on the walls. And then, a viciously cold wind cuts through the parlor like sharpened ice.
I know enough about summoning circles to know not to break it.
The damned candles are dancing in midair around you now, singeing a hair here and there off the coiffed heads of these well-heeled guests. You notice your host across the table has her eyes open wider than they should go. A rivulet of blood dripping from her nose.
Keep
When
holding.
you come to your senses, sunrise has begun to creep in. The parlor is empty, but for you and the woman in the old-fashioned dress, who slumped dejectedly over the table.
He didn't show up. All that sound and fury, and no sign of his spirit.
Move on. I guess we just leave her. Interesting cloud animation. Search.
His smile lights up the room, or rather the cab of the locomotive. Folks gather round as he holds the pull cord. He's a showman through and through. You'll want to cover your ears now for this next part.
Covers
Sure
ears.
doesn't help much. Engineer pulls that chain and the whistle blasts inside your skull. He just smiles through it all. He must
Darnation.
be half deaf. A round of applause erupts from the small crowd. He passes out bubblegum to the shell-shocked kids, half of them in awe, half in tears.
Gets shuffled
Remember
on.
now who gets you there on the advertised. Casey Jones. Everyone's all talk as they head back to their seats. That engineer sure is handsome. Gosh. And that whistle sounded just like a whippoorwill, didn't it? Ain't this the way to travel?
We have some homosexual tendencies, and I like that. We're hiring pickers, the farmhand says. Today only. He drives you over. 30 or 40 people are already making their slow way across an impossibly vast field that touches a hazy horizon. Backbreaking work, but the folks are friendly and the pay is okay. What exactly is a whippoorwill? Is it a bird? I don't really know that much about the Northeast. The music in this game is really, it's enjoyable.
He's small for his age. Boy of 13 or so, sitting on an upturned bucket by the side of a tiny wedge of farmland. The dog, as though by contrast, is massive, an enormous yellow-brown mutt. He's called Rover, the boy explains.
Paul says he can't come with us.
Where?
West.
You notice the Model A truck on the yard, piled high with furnishings and trunks and bags and knots of rope to tie it all together. And upon all that, too, yet more dust and grit.
Paul says it has to be better.
No, don't leave your dog.
With one toe tip, he scratches a parabola on the dead, dry ground.
Paul says we can't afford to feed Rover no more.
You can't tell where the blonde of the dog's coat ends and the omnipresent dust begins. Same goes for the boy's hair.
Will you take him?
I will take the dog.
Rover follows you eagerly after you feed him the tiniest sliver of jerky. But a few hours later, he snaps to attention, as though hearing some distant noise your ears can't catch. The last you see of him are the markings left by his dirty pelt on the leaves of the underbrush.
This is like a country song where your dog dies or runs away in this case.
Set the wind and the sea. And when I'm cold and empty, they're the
I would have liked to have a dog.
ones who'll bury
It could be like Civilization where the scouts have a dog.
Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land.
So I guess each state kind of has their own song.
Well, I'm gonna scrawl my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman come for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much behind to drag me down.
I see fire in the distance. Well, the music is just glitched out right there.
Well, I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my weary back.
I'm guessing this is gonna be Newspaper Guy.
Last ride stuck in my soul.
No, the bar is crowded with people from every walk of life. Businessmen, young men in muddy overalls, and a crowd of girls in slinky dresses preparing their blood alcohol content for a night on the town. But it's a squat, sharp-eyed man in the door who catches your attention. Start a conversation. He launches into a wild story about a deer which chose death over enslavement. Halfway through, he stops, recognizing the look on your face. You know this one. You tell him the story about the white deer. That's it. I think I like mine more. It's more exciting, sure. So that's why I keep telling it my way, he says. Let's get another round and do a competitive test on the other folks here, shall we? By the end of the night, the whole bar agrees the new version is better. It might be because your new friend bought them all drinks.
Well, I'm gonna cast my
I'm guessing I'm going to want to ford this river.
stones of this land, and by and by I'll see them far and long. 'Cause when the night come down for to take me hand in hand, this
What river is this? I should know what river this is. Ohio River. I'm a little slow.
Well, I'm gonna scroll my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman comes,
Here, can you find her? voice is soft, cooing. He's lowered himself down so that his head is level with the two blonde-topped boys next to him. Can you find Grandma? They're pulling ears of corn off stalks with uncommon gentleness.
Say hello.
You don't really say anything. You're just interrupted by the sight of the man's face, a subtle hole under his eye socket. I didn't see you there. The wormy body of a stalk borer crawls out of his skull. You'd best be moving on, Drifter.
That's slightly horrifying. You spend a while in the cool shade at this gas station. You notice 3 kids sitting beside their family car while their parents argue loudly with the cashier inside. The children seem embarrassed. You see the oldest brother lean over and distract his siblings with a story. Listen in. He starts telling them a story about the haunted mill. You realize almost instantly that he's telling a new version of the creepy mill, but with new, exciting, over-the-top details. He tells it well. When the parents come stomping furiously out at the gas station, you make yourself scarce, missing the ending of the boy's new story. But the part you heard is definitely easy to remember. It'll stick with you for a while. See what's going. They used to call this place the Paris of America, and it's fitting. The new Union Station makes you feel like an ant, and that music hall is a hell of a place to look at, too. Cincinnati has only gone downhill.
The corridors of Cincinnati's music hall reverberate with the sounds of an orchestra warming up for rehearsal.
If we unbolt the light rig, we can crush them,
says a voice up ahead. No, another answers. Hiding Baldy's baton will be sufficient to stop the din.
Approach.
The tuxedoed men are slightly transparent. Mustachio on the right has his arms folded. The weaselly one on the left scowls. They start at your arrival.
I'm gonna undo those bolts.
Weasel feature vanishes into thin air.
Damn it all, says the other man.
They're definitely borrowing this from Phantom of the Opera.
We used to be members of the orchestra until, well, you know. Patrick doesn't care for the new blood. It seems like talent died with us, so he does his damnedest to stop them playing. But I can't allow violence against fellow artists. Help me stop him.
How do I stop a ghost?
With the right tool, you can banish them from the hall. You see, no spirit can stand the sound of the purest of all instruments.
Piano. Violin.
No,
Sousaphone.
no.
Sousaphone is a superior instrument. This ghost is wrong. Banjo.
He shakes his head, exasperated.
No! The triangle. The orchestra has one, but their percussionist's a sop. He never hits it right. If you can get there, you can ensure the only thing brutalized here today is Chopin.
Oh my gosh. Go into the hall.
The orchestra is midway through practice. They're in dire need of it. The percussionist dozes on his stool. Everyone's oblivious to the muttering from the lighting rig.
Triangle will save the day.
Down the aisle and elbow through the incensed musicians. The percussionist falls off his stool as you clamber over his xylophone. You grab the beater and bring it down onto the triangle, eliciting a pure, resounding note. And
This is actually like the first funny story so far.
the rafters ring with laughter. The mustachioed ghost appears next to you, doubled over, invisible to the furious orchestra.
I never thought you'd fall for that. The triangle, for God's sake.
Thanks for shutting them up, though.
Move on. I like that one. I think that's my favorite so far. Look for work. I'm feeling good about today. Cozy young man in line with you outside this factory. Feeling pretty good. Today's our lucky day. Shut up, Bill. Every time you say that, nobody's hiring, shouts a man further back in line. We could use a little optimism. The doors burst open. We're taking all comers, shouts the floor manager. Bill gives a whoop. I knew it, he crows. You cheer along with Bill. F you, Bill, the cynic shouts. You had nothing to do with us. Whether or not he did, though, you all get paid. I'll have a Reuben. Cincinnati's pretty cool. So I guess I need sleep now. So heart equals food and Z's equals sleep.
The storm swept in just before sundown, heralded by a purple sky and electricity in the air. He sought shelter alongside a grizzled farmer. All he can do is pace, muttering to himself. Can't just stay here. You catch. Gotta find her.
Who?
He looks up at you. My daughter was out down the road. He balls his fists. God, fuck this. He hauls open the door, shielding his face from the fierce dust. He runs out into the storm.
I did not know there's dust storms in Ohio. Try to help
The
out.
dust scours your skin, and razor winds whip at your clothing. You struggle for breath. The maelstrom has turned the world murky red. You don't see the farmer.
Just keep going.
You press on through the storm. You see the farmer up ahead. He's on his knees. A great, dark shape made from swirling dust looms over him.
Shout a warning.
You manage no more than a cough. The dust thing engulfs the man in his body. The storm whips faster. You can't breathe. You have to get back to shelter.
Was that a tornado or like did some supernatural figure just eat him?
You make it to safety, but don't manage any sleep. The storm settles in the early hours. You find the farmer laid out in the street, his corpse a shriveled mass. He has one arm stretched out in front of him, as if to crawl.
Move on. I guess we don't even bury him. Here's story. The bar is crowded with people from every walk of life. Oh, it's Fedora Guy. He launches into a wild story about the women communing with the wood spirits. Halfway through, he stops, recognizing the look on your face. You know this one? You tell him the story about the women praying in the woods. That's it. I think I like mine more. It's more exciting, sure. Blah, blah, blah. This will be my final chapter before I end the video.
You're free to sit down by me here as anywhere. Wouldn't that be something if that were true?
This is new.
Fact is, I ain't safe for you. You get found with me tonight, they'll think you're Union too, no matter what you tell them. And when it seems we're all alone, and you've done nothing to deserve it, you ain't free. I do appreciate the company. If we make it through the night, be sure to say you ain't never met me. For us both.
So I guess he's like speaking with all the voices of the miners right now.
Got any funny stories? Must have a couple.
I want to tell them the story about the Cincinnati ghost. Uh-oh, we're lagging. Am I blind? I guess I'll tell them about, where is it? This one.
Well, just seems like wishful thinking to me. Heaven? Mother Jones once said that carrying a vote is the same as carrying a bayonet. I imagine a sea of weapons laid down, foam of words writ down instead, and all us miners going onward. Onward with them to freedom. Real freedom. And then finally, after all that abiding, she said, all that law abiding, then we get a jag. Yeah, when that day comes, a skinful will be real nice. A skinful, too. And a morning's honest work to soldier through. Grateful. See anything exciting out there on the road? Mostly I just seen dogs.
I feel like he'd like the story about the deer.
Come on, stranger. Tell me something true.
What?
Freedom. At the end of the day, I just want to say where my bones go. Don't seem like too much to ask. Anyway, I need to think about something else. Know any scary stories? Any spooky stuff?
Where is the monster in this storm? I guess I'll tell him about the seance.
Working hard to scare me, ain't you? That's a good one. Luck. When you know you ain't gonna be alone in it, that's when you know you struck it lucky. Where's it you headed from here, friend? Alone, right?
Yeah, my dog ran away.
Anyway, I need something to laugh about. Got any funny ones? You reading to me out of a dime novel? That stuff ain't true. Travel? Where are you from, stranger? If you don't mind, you got the face of someone who's running to, not from. That must seem strange to you. All this talk about work while all I do is run. Where will you go? What will you earn? See anything exciting out there on the road? Mostly I just seen dogs. Stranger, miners tell me sadder stuff than that every day of the week. Sorrow comes seeping in. Worse than trapped gas. Can't breathe like that.
I really like this artwork right here.
Why'd they build this country on top of the workers' graves? So many children with broken fingers and legs, wheeled out in little broken bits. Why? My mother counting every day who goes up the hill to work and who comes back down. Today my brother, Big Ben, wasn't with him. You start starving for air to think about it, so you best not. You best get angry instead. I got to go, friend. Up the road this way. Wish I had a line of people like you waiting to sit with me and share a fire. But I don't.
Kind of feel miserably with that one.
And I understand. They know how they can get shot. But some of them will see it safer to die standing for something than the way they'll end up dead anyway. And that's something you understand too, right? Maybe we share a fire again, friend. I hope we do.
So that's it for this video. Let me end the recording.